Hello everybody, Demon Red Mysterio. Oh, fucking red hot and sweating. Okay, I'm gonna do a guide video for race 7 in the DGT League's Grit Championship from Sanquhar B2. I wasn't really gonna do one for this track, but there's a couple of things that I've kind of found out with it that may be very, very handy for a few of the drivers to do. So, looking at the track map, the start-finish line is where the two lines are across the road, and heading south is towards turn 1. And turn 1 is one of the key corners I wanted to mention. Turn 1 is actually a surprisingly very, very fast corner, and I'll show you about that. Normally most cars you have to slow down quite a bit, but in this one, no. After turn 1, we've then got an extremely flat out section into a left-hand hairpin. And then we've got the bridge section, which isn't the most difficult, but there's a couple of things that if you don't know, you'll make mistakes and it'll become very difficult. So I'm going to try and sort of go through it as quick as I can. Okay. Turn 1 would normally be brake about 100 metres, but you can brake a lot later in this car. I'm at about just before 50 metres, but I'll show you how. This bit is all absolutely flat out. Although if you're concerned, do a lift here. The hairpin, it could be an overtaking place, but there's no point, because if you overtake someone into the hairpin, they're going to overtake you down the straight. So you might as well wait till the straight and overtake them there. Now the straight that is the straight is flat out all the way down, the left-hander at the end though. You don't have to brake hard. Take it 4th gear, get on the power quite early. This is the key points though. Brake before the crest of the hill. If you brake any later, you're going to get deep. 3rd gear corner, and again on the exit of the bridge, don't brake late. There's a white line. Let's see if I can pick it out actually. It's kind of like at the crest of the bridge, so kind of like where this barrier's ending. Yeah, I'm braking around about here and then turning in quite early because it's a blind apex, you can't see the corner, so I will already be turning in at this point. So if we look at the white lines that are going, the dashes in front of us, I'm turning in already and I'm on the left hand side of that, so I would suggest try not turning in after that, but we'll see how it goes at full speed. This is a quite quick 3rd gear corner, but if you brake later and turn in later than I'm showing, it's a horrible, slow, awkward 2nd gear corner. Flat out up and over the hill, and then the right hander is a 3rd gear corner, brake and start the curb, and you can get on the power nice and early. Final corner is a little bit tricky. Just don't get greedy here. Braking at about 60 metres, and you can carry it 4th gear through the corner, putting 2 wheels on the AstroTurf. Right, I mentioned about turn 1. So 50 metres. Oh, I've got cold tyres, but 50 metres, barely any brake, couple of downshifts. Now we're flat out. You can go up an extra gear if you want, save a bit of fuel. Brake before the start of the curve. Don't brake too hard though. But brake at the start of the curve, that gives you a really good focus point. It may be difficult to see from my view, because some of the corners are blind, so I'll do it from this view. Okay, down here I haven't really got a braking point. I'm just sort of lifted off and gently braking way before the corner. And then about the tarmac patch I want to be on full throttle. Brake before the crest. And even then that's a touch. I braked a touch too late. obviously the view's slightly different, but it goes to show what'll happen if you do brake too late. So braking before the end of the bridge. Third gear and turn it in early, and you'll find you can come through the corner very quick. It's weird driving in this view. For me anyway. Okay, start the curb. Let the car get tucked into the apex. So it may feel or look like I'm braking too soon, but it's all about letting the car get slowed down for the apex. About 70 metres, fourth gear, 2 wheels on the green, that's fine, and we can be on the power. Okay, let's get it up to 6th. Okay, about 50 metres, maybe just before. Little bit of brake, and we're on the power. So, you don't have to brake hard for that corner. And you don't have to steer loads for this bit either. Okay, just before the start of the curb. Missed the apex, but we got around the corner okay-ish. Need to do better there, so brake a little harder, a little earlier. And the way that I'm kind of doing this corner is I know I want to be in 4th gear in the corner. I want to be 4th gear here. So I'm just basically giving myself plenty of time to get the car down to 4th gear. Brake before the crest, 3rd gear, tuck it in, avoid the wall on the exit. Okay, we'll brake before the end of the bridge, turn it in over the wide dashes. And we're fully on the throttle once we're at the apex. You'll notice by doing these things that I'm mentioning, the car will be a lot more stable. Brake at the start of the curb, let it slow down. Yeah, the car's stable, it's not sliding, I'm not wheel spinning, I'm not sliding under braking. Could drop it down to 3rd there, but it's going to burn fuel. So, keep it in 4th. So it can be done in 5th gear, but it's picking up a little slow on the exit, so I probably will do it in 4th. But what it does mean is that turn 1 is not really going to be much of an overtaking opportunity unless you are already up alongside down the straight towards turn 1. There ain't going to be no late braking moves because you barely have to brake. Okay, brake before the crest. I've gone down to 2nd, didn't mean to. What I am doing braking for the bridge is there isn't any braking and feeding it off nicely. It's braking and braking hard and staying on it. Like this as well, it does become a much more enjoyable track to drive on. Okay, so let's go for 4th gear, turn 1 again. I mean, I am barely touching the brakes. Mention a bit about these S's in a moment. They'll hopefully help people if they're struggling there. And again, for the hairpin, I'm fully on the brakes there, and I'm staying on the brakes until I know for certain I've got it slowed down. Right, the flat out S's section, you can take it in a way that can make it difficult for you, or you can take it in a way that will allow you to take it the same way every lap. And I'll apologise if it sounds like I'm shouting, but I can barely hear myself over the car. Right, so with the S's, okay, so with the flat out S's, if we look on the track map, turn 1 is the 90-degree left-hander, which we now know is a very fast corner. The S's are comprised of 2 right-handers, 1 left-hander, and 2 more right-handers. Well, the way that I'm approaching it is avoid apex 1, take apex 2, take apex 3, avoid apex 4, and take apex 5. So we miss 1, hit 1, hit 1, miss 1, hit 1. May sound a bit odd, but it basically works out the 2 right-handers miss the first apex, take the second one. That's the easiest way to remember that. What that'll allow you to do is to be able to carry the speed. This car's a noisy bastard. It'll allow you to carry the speed all the way through the corners. Because what will happen is if you take the apex of the first one and you're here, now you've got a much tighter second one, so there's half a chance you're going to end up facing over this direction, and if you are, you're then going to be thinking, shit, I'm going to have to lift, and then you're just going to go wider here, and it's then going to send you over to this side of the road, which then means you're hitting the apex here, and now this one's tighter, so it makes it harder for yourself. I'll try and do it at speed, just so that I can show it. I mean, I would guess most people that have driven this track will fully understand that if they have done it that way. Now in this car, excuse me, you may get away with it for a bit, but with dirty air and traffic, it's not going to be very nice. And the more times you take it like that, the more punishment you'll be giving the tyres, because the tighter you're having to turn, which means the more wear your tyres are going to have, which then means it's going to get harder and harder to actually keep those tighter lines. Down too many gears. Okay. About 75 metres for a 4th gear, smooth, quick corner. About 60 metres for turn 1 for a 4th gear, so down 2. And don't be afraid of throwing it into that corner. It can take it. Right, we're going to apex the first one. Okay, now we're tighter. Okay, I've made it, but that's hurt the tyres a little bit. And if we apex this one, I'm having to steer loads. Okay, so looking at that, I've been able to do it, but the amount of steering angle that I needed was more than double what I am using doing it my way. So that is double the punishment on the tyres through those corners. Now, if we were in a car that didn't have as much grip, taking it the way I just did, you will fly off the road potentially if you try and take it flat out. Taking it the way that I'm showing just gives you that extra little bit of room to be able to not steer as much, not punish the tyres as much, make the corners straighter and not tighter. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm only going to go through the S's one more time. I'll do it how I've been doing it. And then if you want to compare how much steering lock using the red dot above the rev gauge, not that you can see it very easily, but yeah, if you want to compare, you can. Okay, so get ourselves over to the left, over the crest. Now we can turn it in a bit. No issues. And yeah, I was having to steer more than double. Oh, I've gone second gear, I don't want second gear. So just from the feel of the steering wheel going through those corners, doing it the way that I just did then, okay, if you imagine the steering wheel being a clock and my left hand would be 9 o'clock, it only went to 10 o'clock to get around those corners. Whereas when I took it hitting the first apex, I was more 11, 12 o'clock with my left hand. So it was definitely a big difference. Anyway, hope those tips help, and yeah, have a good one, and I'll see you all again soon.